Now let's hit that go live button. And we're live. What's up, guys? I know I always laugh every single time I start going live. Just every single one, you can go in the previous live trainings and you'll just hear me like have this like little nervous laughter immediately when I go live. But it's fun. It's great. I love it. Okay, what is up, Rajiri? How you doing? Hope you're doing well, man. I haven't been able to connect with you in a little bit. Miss you, buddy. And I decided to do this live training on color grade. So let me switch my screen here.
How you doing?
Okay. So we're still in the Italy video, but I want to talk all about using Lumetri Color and why you should use it. So right now, the way I've been using Lumetri Color is I used to, like every single clip, I used to just put a specific Lumetri color on. Like I used to color correct specific clips rather than the entire video itself. So generally that is the case that you want to lean towards. So if you have a bunch of clips, so I'll go ahead and start a new sequence. So we'll start a new sequence.
So generally
and then
the case that you want to lean towards.
Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take these clips. So I think all these clips would be fun to mess with. So I'm going to copy all these, and I'm just going to paste them in here, okay? That slash above enter to zoom in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all. So Control A, right click. We're going to remove attributes. I'm going to remove literally everything. So all the attributes are gone. And now I think the only thing that's left is like motion. But removing all attributes removes every effect too. So cool. I hope you're doing well here.
All the attributes are gone.
You guys doing?
Now,
So a little.
the only thing that's left is like motion.
Just moved up.
But removing all attributes removes every effect too.
So okay, should be fine. I'm afraid to see a black bar underneath my nav bar, but it's alright. So right now we are looking at all these clips, okay? So I'm going to stack them all up to each other. All these dissolves, just whatever, ignore those. But what really needs to happen is we need to color correct before we color grade. So to color correct, that's focusing on the blacks and whites. That's focusing on the brightness and the contrast. And you want to make it so that every clip in your video has the same composition of black and white. They could be totally different clips, but you want to make sure they all kind of balance within that composition. How you guys doing? Hope you're doing well. Okay, cool. So while we're in here, I want to mess with the black and white. So right now, obviously there are some black and whites, there's some gray, like there's black and white in basically every single video. So we just want to balance it so that it kind of pops more and it adheres to our liking. So if I go under effects, and I go to Lumetri Color, which is our big boy. So I'm going to select any of these, and I'm just going to drop it on here, okay? So totally drastically changes the look of it. So that looks really dark and pretty ominous. But what I'm going to do is inside of here, when I go to Effect Controls, I'm just going to hit that Reset button. So there's no effect going on in Lumetri. So Lumetri right now is doing literally nothing. So while I'm in here, I'm going to scroll down and click on Basic Correction. And under Basic Correction, we are going to adjust the contrast mostly, some of the shadows, the exposure. We're going to mess with all of these. The whites, black, shadows, highlights, contrast, and exposure. I usually start with contrast, so I'm going to boost that a little bit. We're going to see some of the blacks kind of pop in, and the whites pop out. So if we add that, we can see it kind of pops out. So like this is like, this is roughly 0, this is 0, and then when I add, it's a little more black, and then I can also pop it with some exposure. So usually I don't like doing this, but if I really want to make it bright, because look at that. I like how the stairs shine right here. It's pretty nice. But 0.9 is pretty high, so let's do like a 0.4. Okay? Even the difference between 0 and 0.2 is a lot. So if I go to 0 and I do 0.2, it's a pretty big difference. So I think I'll stick with 0.4 because that's less of a difference between 2 and 4. But I want it to be a little on the bright side. And then we got shadows here. We can bring these up. But I don't think I really want to do this because it kind of takes out the contrast. Like the contrast really separates black and white. So if black and white are pretty close, then they kind of make it gray. The more you increase the contrast, the more difference you can see in blacks and whites, and that's what makes things pop. And it adds more shadow and it adds more shine. So that's the point of contrast. So when I add shadows, it kind of pulls away from that shine. So I'm going to keep that at 0. And then whites and blacks, you can specifically control them. And I generally don't mess with this because contrast usually does the trick. But yeah, see, I can really bring the blacks down. I can really bring the whites out. So this clip is kind of nice because the shadow is beautiful. You can totally see the difference between left and right. So if I reset that, I think I might bring the blacks down. There we go. Okay, so here's the difference, right? That's it off. This is it on. So it pops way more with that contrast. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it on another clip. Okay, so we got this clip of the water, right? We got this clip. I'm actually just going to stretch this out. So there's the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Is this sped up? I'm going to paste it on another clip. Okay, so we got this clip. Yeah, it is. Okay, let me type 100 for 100% speed. Okay. Actually, just going to stretch this out. There's the water. Okay. So I want to add that contrast. I'm just going to paste in Lumetri Color. Bam, pasted. And so that really brings the balance to this clip too. Now this clip has different whites and blacks. So it depends on the exposure that you're shooting with your camera, which is what will determine how you'll have to color balance and color correct it. But right now, see, it's kind of bright, so I'm going to bring that exposure down because we don't need that much. But the contrast still adds, because if we turn this off, we reset the contrast. See, it's just not as sharp looking. It's not as like crisp looking. And then we got the blacks here. But that doesn't really make a huge impact on the water. So, but it definitely looks nicer because when you turn this Lumetri Color off, it adds more of a pop to it. Okay. So what we've done is we've color corrected 2 clips, and now I would generally just go through the rest of these and just color correct them, and make sure that they're balanced on the blacks and whites. Hello. Echo of me talking. What we've done is we've color corrected 2 clips, and now I would generally just go through the rest of these. Hold on. Just color correct them. Hold up. And make sure that they're balanced. Wait a minute. Why is there an echo? Echo of me talking. Is it because? Oh. I don't know why that would be an echo. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Why is there an echo? Desktop audio. Why is that coming? Okay. Maybe you guys can hear me now. Is there still an echo? That's a little strange. My computer was doing some flips earlier. When I started this, it died, but so far it looks like it should be okay. Yeah, the echo is because of my library. This is my wealth of knowledge behind me. And there's like a downstairs area. I don't know if you can see it very well. Okay, cool. I'm glad you can hear me now. But yeah, there's a downstairs, and that's all the stuff that I forgot. And I generally don't go down there. And so that's all the stuff in the back of my brain. But my wealth of knowledge is up here. I'm on this floor. If I go down there, I'll go down memory lane. But I forgot where the stairs are. So, okay. So we are going to dive in, and we are going to paste another little correction here. So I'm going to focus on, I think I like this. No, I like this shot. This shot right here has the most color to it, I think. Yeah. So what we're going to do is right here, we're going to paste this in. Okay, so we got the balance, but it's pretty dark. The blacks are really harsh. So I'm going to reset this -35 on the blacks. So now you can see more of her hair. So then what we can do is we can, now that we've color balanced, we can turn on high dynamic range if we wanted to, but sometimes it does something, sometimes it doesn't. Ultimately, high dynamic range kind of messes with my exports. It gets weird, and it makes the video like glitchy, but that was a long time ago, and I stopped using it. They might have fixed it since. Yeah, it's my library. It's it's where I absorb knowledge. I don't read these books. I just look at them, and then the knowledge just gets in my head. It's pretty nice. But it only happens in my library, and I will not divulge the location of it. Tell us why we're using this effect. Oh, we are using this effect because I don't know if you showed up late, Rogeri, but we are using this effect because we want, by default, our clips are stale. So like by default, like when you want to make sure that your clips pop. So like when you're watching like these clips here, like, yeah, they look nice content wise, but like this isn't very red. It's kind of dull. And like things aren't really like popping out as much. I mean, here, like, it's just like these rooftops should pop out more. It's just you want people to like, you know, be mesmerized. I mean, and you're not like flubbing the actual image. You're just, it's like adding salt to food. Like the reason why, you know, you have a steak, even though I'm vegan, I don't eat steak. If you have a steak, you put salt on it so it brings more of the steak flavor out to your taste buds. And it's the same exact thing with video. You want to put salt, aka color grading, on your videos and adding saturation and stuff so that people can see it better, so they can differentiate it better. Okay, so hope that makes sense. So right now we just did a little effect right here on this clip. Okay, so we added that contrast. I think I might want to up the exposure a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of nice. And then shadows. No, see, the highlights are kind of bright over here on land. Yeah, enhance the flavor, exactly. So we're going to bring these highlights down. Brought the highlights down, but I want to increase the contrast to make sure the white still pops a little, but not too much. Okay, and then let's get that exposure back up. Okay, so it's pretty busy over here. The colors aren't very dynamic, but it's just sunlight. But maybe I can bring this. Yeah. Okay. So what we can do as our first line of color balancing and diving into color grading is we can mess with temperature and tint first. So what temperature does right here, it makes it warmer or colder. So if I go to the right, it makes it very warm. If I go to the left, it makes it very cold. So some clips are generally very cold and some are generally very warm. And I tend to lead towards the warm side when I'm color grading, and it's just based on my personal preference. And so I'll go a little bit warmer just to add that feel. You know, it's literally about warmth. And everyone likes, you know, that warm, like, welcome feeling. Because, like, see, it's at 15 and it's a little warmer. If I reset it, you know, it's cooler. And if I bring it down, like, this just feels very, it literally feels cold. Like, a lot of people associate cold with blue and heat with, like, orange. So that's exactly what this is. So we're going to make it about 15. And then tint is different. That's about greens and magentas. And that's more of a tool used for color balancing, because adding too much magenta and adding too much green to your video just makes it look weird, but you might need to use it to make it match your other clips. So if I go magenta, you can see it's more purpley. If I go back, it's more green. So I don't really want either, because I think it's got a good mix of green and magenta right in here. Okay, so we're not going to worry about that. So that's our first step when going into color grading, is choosing our temperature and tint. After we corrected it with our exposure, contrast, and highlights. So next, we are going to decide, oh, like, maybe we should mess around with, like, these presets that Adobe already comes with that are the next level of color grading, which will actually add a look. And what it does, it's called an input LUT. So LUT is LUT, that stands for lookup table. And lookup table is a fancy way to describe if red is this code, right? Like red is this hex code, which is like hashtag 1BB, 093. That's red. What the lookup table does is for every color in a 256 color range, it will assign that red code that it is originally in the video. So like in the video, we can like, let's see. Let's just do green. Let's do ultra key. Okay. So I'm just going to put this on just as an example. It doesn't really mean much to you. So see how there's like the key color? So I can pull like a red. So if I pulled this or this red back here in this guy's shirt, so I pulled the red. And red is very common in skin color. So it pulled like everyone's color out. Like red is super common in this clip, except for the water. The water looks normal. But I pulled red out. And like this is the color of red, right? So I pulled it out, and the color red is FF656F. Okay, so that's the red in this video. It kind of looks pink here, but when you look, like it looks pink here because when you actually look at the video, like it looks red relative, like relative to everything else going on, that looks red. Doesn't look super bright pink, but regardless, that's another idea. So we know that the red is that code. What a lookup table does is it takes that code and it just assigns it to another shade of red. It just assigns it to another shade. So like blue will be more of like a teal, red could be more of like a pink, like it's assigned differently. So these codes are just moved, and they're red, like red as in read, they're read differently in after you put the effect on. So here is the input LUT. So there's a few examples in here, and that will change the composition of your original footage. So hold on, let me check something before I move on. Okay, so these are LUTs. You can download these from online. They can be kind of complex trying to install them, but you can find them. There's a lot of popular YouTubers that have LUTs that they created themselves, but Premiere makes it a little bit simpler. So LUTs are a thing that you might hear if you're trying to get into color grading, and that is mostly for like big time productions. But we are not going to dive into it. I'll show you what it does. So Alexa, Amira, Ari, these are all types of cameras. These are film cameras that they use to make movies with. And so generally when you shoot with those cameras, they have these specific, they have this color information that's specific to the camera. And if you want to actually see those colors and have them become vibrant, you have to put on a LUT. It's like another step in making a clip look washed out to making it look like it is currently here on the right. It's a step that they take because it adds more customizability when people are trying to color grade their films. So like, for the big screen, they want to have all the control. But right now, this clip, like I recorded my camera, it already had a LUT installed on it. And not everyone knows this. Most digital cameras just have LUTs installed, and you just shoot with them, and you can do the standard setting or the vivid setting or whatever. Those are LUTs. And so mine, I was set on vivid, and so that's why it looks the way it looks without my color correction. So when I take off Lumetri, but these LUTs are used if you are using those big cameras. So I just wanted to explain that. You guys aren't really going to use this, but if you really wanted to, you could explore it. I mean, look how intense this is. And they're not super different, but they all have different color assignments. So that's a Rec 709. But yeah, so we're going to do none. So what we're going to do next is ignore the LUT. Okay, so I just explained that because it's a very complicated part of color grading. Just so you understand, so you're not like in the dark on that. But well, let's ignore that, and then let's scroll down, go under Creative, and then we're going to see we have like intensity, faded film, sharpen, vibrance, and saturation. So we're not going to mess with those right now, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at look. So see this look? This is basically Adobe Premiere Pro's version of LUTs, of lookup tables. So Adobe Premiere Pro just kind of changed, and they said, hey, make a look for your film, for your video that you're making. So let's just let's choose from the looks. So, holy cow. Okay, the list goes up. How do I make it go down? I have two monitors. I'm sorry. Well, this list is reaching, so I have two monitors. I have one here and one here. And it's literally halfway on the one that I'm showing you guys and halfway on the other one. So it's really long. And there's a really long list of all these different LUTs that you can choose from. So you got blue ice, right? So click on that. That makes things more blue and icy. That looks pretty nice. We also got iron. Makes things a little more rusty. Let's see, noir, black and white, but we got a little bit of color. Very noir-like. Matrix green. Ooh, it's like the Matrix. So yeah, we got all these really cool effects. Let's see. Big HDR. What's big HDR? Ooh, I kind of like that one. Let me turn that off. I don't know. I kind of like that. it pops the oranges and then makes the greens like more bluish. I don't know. I just do. Let me see. Minus blue. Oh. Ew. What if we did bleach? Yeah. So there's all these different choices here. And then we also have like Cinespace. This one is usually a very warm, dark one. Kodak. So yeah, all these different effects. What's up, Lewis? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. We are doing some color grading. And I'm just going to stick with Big HDR. I think I like that one a lot. And so I feel really comfortable about this. I feel like this one is really good. So I'm going to... let's see if we can add some vibrance to it. So let me show you what happens when you boost vibrance. This is also under that creative. So I have, I picked my look. I can also change the intensity of it, so I can bring it down, bring it back up. So I can really boost it to 200, but I just want 100, okay? And then I can change the vibrance. So I'm boosting it, and really, I personally, I don't really know exactly what vibrance does and how different it is from saturation. I think it's just like less powerful than saturation, because this is saturation. It like really brings those greens out. And then vibrance, I think vibrance focuses on light. So it holds on to the light, and it doesn't make whites. Yeah, I think this is a good guess. It doesn't make the whites and the blacks, doesn't pull the color out of them. It keeps things white and keeps things black, but makes all the rest of the colors more saturated. So if I do saturation though, it adjusts how the whites look a little bit. So like you can see in his skin, his whites look more orange. The black is more purple here. But if I reset that, it does get that purple tint. But I don't know. Vibrance isn't as like destructive as saturation. So let's see. I think I want to add a little bit. So this is, so I put it at 50 vibrance. So let's hit the on and off here. Yeah, I think I like that a lot better. Cool. Glad that makes sense too. Okay, so this is the clip here, right? So we got orange or yellow paddle. Yeah, so that looks nice. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this Lumetri Color, and though it does come with that brightness and contrast, which should be different per clip, I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to use an adjustment layer, put it on top of all of my clips, and see if this color correction and this color grading that I did can apply pretty well to all of my clips here. So I'm going to copy this Lumetri Color. Also, let's get some thumbnails going. You guys might enjoy that. Okay, so let's create an adjustment layer. So I went down here, hit that new item, adjustment layer, hit OK, pop that bad boy in, bam. Okay, and then now I'm going to make sure this is copied. So Control C, copy. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to delete this one too. Okay, I'm going to delete this one too. Now I'm going to paste it on adjustment layer. Bam. Okay, so this clip is good. Now let's see what the other clips look like. Ooh, that's like very yellow. So that didn't really work out for this clip. This one's kind of interesting. I like the water. That's very yellow. Still very yellow. So I think it pulls a lot of yellow out. Ooh, I like this one. Hold on, what if I turn it off? Yeah, this one pops. I like that one a lot. What about the beginning clip? Yeah, it seems pretty yellow. Maybe I need to take... So I can go in here and just affect everything on a high level. So if I pull the temperature, it's a little less yellow. And then I can also make the intensity of this about 75. Let's see. Cool. Not as yellow. Ooh, that's a good one. This is a moody shot too. It's not too bright. The building roofs look like gold, yeah. Yeah, this ore looks like gold. Look at that. That's pure gold. See, this shot still looks good. The lighting of it. This one looks pretty good. Yeah, because I made it a little less yellow. Those buildings were yellow already. So, kind of can't do much about that. Yeah, there's that. And then this light, I would like it to be more white, but like I think to fit the vibe, it needs to be yellow. And then this one just works. There's not much yellow to pop out. So yeah, hope that makes sense to you guys. If you guys have any questions, please leave it down in the comments. You can also, like, while you have this adjustment layer with this color grading, you can also put like another Lumetri. So I'm gonna do another Lumetri. Just grab any one, Cinespace 100, and I'm just gonna reset it. Okay, go into basic correction, and I'm gonna get that nice contrast back in this clip. Okay, so I'm adjusting this just for the color correction and balance. So I'm balancing the blacks and whites. That's why it's called color balance. Oh yeah, color pop is the key. You know it. So let's get that 0.4 exposure. Maybe I don't need that. Yeah, because it's already bright. Let's make sure the blacks. Are acknowledged. What do I put that here? Nah, too bright. But I do want in the water. I wanna really get the water out. So can we get the blacks going? Yeah. Ooh, I like the detail. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. The detail of the water, rather than it being some big white, like, glowing mess, you can actually see some of the waves. It does make this stuff darker, but at the end of the day, that's okay, because we got the detail from the waves. It looks nice. Okay. Yeah, so this one, let's also see if we can copy this clips, Lumetri, paste it on here. Okay, that made it very dark. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna make it contrasted, but we're gonna try and up this a little. Maybe add some of that contrast. Get those highlights going. Okay, so if we add the highlights, you can see that some of the saturation tries to run away. We got saturation here, but I want to add vibrance. Bam, look at that. Look at that beautiful green. Love that. I reversed the clip. But the green is a little off. So maybe I'll just bring those highlights back down. And then bring that vibrance a little, make the water blue. This isn't supposed to be reverse. Both supposed to be moving. Bam. Okay, I think I'm gonna make this clip longer just because I like it. Cool. Cool. This one is a little too, and also pull yellow out of this. So I'm just gonna drop this Cinespace in. Let's reset that baby. That bad boy. Bring that temperature down. Ooh, not as warm. How does that work? That works pretty well. I like that. Cool. That one's very yellow. I think we can just copy and paste this. Copy. Paste. Ooh, that makes it too blue. So that's when we have a struggle, right? We have a conflict of interest. A little too yellow, but if we make it more blue, it makes the sky look crazy. Look at that. So let's see. Is it best to pop the color? Is it best to pop the color or to have it look closest to the natural color? Well, so that depends. Like, it depends on how much salt that you like on your steak. Like, it depends on how much flavor you want to pull out of the video. For me, I tend to lean towards pulling as much flavor as possible, but not too much, because it gets a little ridiculous and distracting. So this is getting close to distracting. It's right on that threshold. It's a little too yellow, pops out a little too much. If I turn this off, it looks more natural and nice. But the only thing is, like, it just depends on the composition of the shot. You can always just remove the adjustment layer. So I just cut out a piece. Okay. So now we got the regular shot. But I will want to add a little bit of vibrance to this. Okay, just to pop it a little, but it's not too yellow, right? The buildings are yellow, and that's fine. So this looks more balanced. This one is a little too yellow, so I'm going to turn it off for this too. Okay, and then I'm going to paste the same Lumetri color on this one. Alright. So I just don't want it to be too yellow, but then we're back to that one. So I hope that makes sense. Alright, it's 11:30. I had a lot of fun teaching you guys this. I hope you learned a lot. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for sticking with me. I am very glad that I was able to go over this. This is different from all the Italian travel videos I was working on. The reason why that was so consistent is not only do I like editing like that, and I had a lot of fun making that with you guys, but also I haven't had a lot of time to prepare for different tutorials because I've been going all over the place this month. It's been one of those months, but I'm looking forward to September being more consistent along with October. So yeah, and that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to learn more about color correction, I dive deeper into it in my free mini course. So if you want to go through my free mini course, you will see I've got color correction in there. I believe it's in the... Actually, it's in my premium course. So if you go through my free mini course, you will get a discount on the premium course, and you'll see much heavier look into color correction and how to create your workspace and how to just do everything exactly how I did, but better and with better examples. So if you check that out, that'd be amazing. I would love to see you there. I would love to hear from you. And yeah, there's plenty of other stuff to learn in there. If you want to learn more and see everything that's in all those lessons, you can go to ParEdits.com/createvideo-premium. And that link is in the description as well. Actually, the premium might not be, but the free one is. So you can check out the free one. And if you want to find the premium one, just go to ParEdits.com. It's in my store, in my products. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you 80% discount code. Sweet. Thank you, Rajiri. Instruction on travel videos. Going to have a course to purchase for more instruction. Yeah, I do have a course. So yeah, please check that out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for coming. Oh, my outro just isn't working. What if I did this? I want to make it work. Bam. Good. Yes.